Oh, okay. All right. Usually I do a 3 count in my head, but I was braining something else at the moment. I think I might have the brain scramblies. Oh, do you know what happened
What's
to
up?
me yesterday?
What happened to you?
So, Jared, when you were here, we started. You said, "Oh, we haven't watched the last season of Archer yet."
Yeah.
So we started watching. Well, yesterday on whatever Hulu or whatever it was, they released, and I know that there are a few people on planet Earth that still watch network TV. I don't know who those people are. I think they live in Pennsylvania. But for everybody else who doesn't watch network TV, they released the last episode, season 12, episode 8 of Archer yesterday.
Did you watch it?
Yes.
Should I watch it or should I just stop?
Oh, you have to watch it.
Oh, okay.
But my heart
Do they go all BoJack Horseman on you?
broke.
Oh no.
No, it was
Don't tell me, but
way better than BoJack. It was so good, but so it hurt so much at the same time. You know. And I was because I was wondering, I'm watching, I'm like, oh, what are they setting up for? What are they setting up for? And then the last 90 seconds of the episode, I'm glad I was alone so that nobody could see me cry. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about Winter is Coming and AK-74. So Zachary, if you will, please. And for those out there in the audience, they're like, what's he talking about, man? Hey, I can't keep you up to date on television shows. You're going to do that on your own. Zach, play the music.
Welcome to Student of the Gun Radio, proudly brought to you from the SDS Imports studio. If you want quality that's affordable, visit sdsimports.com. We don't just talk guns and gear, we also discuss current events and politics, because guns are politics. Now sit back and listen louder to your co-host, CEO of Full 30, Jared Markle, and your beloved host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
Oh, man. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I'm trying really hard to keep it positive here. Hey, did you guys see that it was either the New York Times or was a major news source it put out a story about the scientists are monitoring the sun, right? You guys have probably heard this. Scientists are monitoring the sun and these conditions. Of course, if you believe that the earth is flat and that the sun is actually a Tesla bulb, then don't worry about this. But for the rest of us who aren't lunatics, scientists have been monitoring the sun and the conditions, they say the conditions are right for a solar flare. Solar flare. And if the solar flare hits, that it could cause a worldwide disruption of the internet. And I'm sitting over here thinking, stop teasing. Stop teasing me.
That's funny.
You know, if you're going to do it, just do it. All right. You know, it's I can't remember which news agency it was, but I was kind of surprised because usually stuff like that is the whatever, some news thing you've never heard of, but it was actually a big one. And it was shared by one of you guys out there. And my comment was, stop teasing. You say, but Paul, how could you beg for an internet outage? We wouldn't be able to hear your voice. I know that would be terrible. But the good news is what I have done and what I've been doing for the last, I don't know, how long I've been writing books, like 20 years or so. Actually, I've been writing books for over 20 years, but the modern incarnation has only been going on for about 12 years. But that's one of the reasons you need a paper. And the other reason you should have ham radio. Like, well, if the internet goes out, ham radio won't work.
Honey glazed ham.
It will. So even if there is no internet, your radio's
not if there's a solar flare.
You put
those atmospheric conditions will completely ruin the ham radio signal.
Nope.
Ham radio people are like, dude, shut up.
Shut up. You know what you're talking about.
Like, you know just about this.
Take your radios. Take your radios and put them in an Ark bag. Put them in an Ark bag. What's an Ark bag? Don't worry about it. Well, if you don't know by now, are there people in the audience that don't know what the Ark bag is by now?
Yes.
ARK. Okay. Crossbreed holsters. In addition to holsters and belts and other things, they have this product called the ARK, the Ark Bag. And it is basically a Faraday cage, but it also keeps out the moisture and all that stuff. What we've done previously, and I wasn't planning on talking about this, but what we've done previously, everybody has go bags and bug out bags and all that stuff, right? You're like, yeah, me too. Yeah. I put the really important stuff, the stuff that if it rusted, corroded, whatever, it would be ruined, like a flashlight with batteries, ammunition. If your ammunition turns green, it's probably not going to work very well. If primers are exposed to too much moisture, they die and they stop working. Stuff like that. Knives. If a knife gets rusty, it's not sharp anymore. So what I did years ago, like 17, 18, I put a gun, flashlight, ammo, knife, med kit, all that stuff in an Ark bag, put it in my bug out bag. Left it there for a year. Pulled it out. It was pristine. It was like it was brand new. Then I put it away and I waited another year, pulled it out again. Still, sorry, you can't see it. I'm pointing to it. It's back there in a backpack on a shelf right now, being pristine. It's called the ARK bag, and it's from Crossbreed Holsters. Go there and buy it. Oh, yeah. So was it New York Times? New York Post. Yeah. Yeah, this was just shared with me. It's a September 22nd story. So like, it's like a whole 3 weeks ago. Yeah, I was surprised. I'm like, wow, so this is what we're talking about now. And, my thought is, brothers and sisters, I got food, I got water, I got fuel for fires, and, I could live without the internet. I could live without the internet. I could actually do my job without the internet. I did my job. I did what I do now. Well, not this, but without the internet. I wrote books without the internet. You wrote a book without the internet? How could you write a book without the internet? You guys know that, right? I wrote my first 2 books before the internet existed.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah. And maybe it was my first 3 books I wrote before the internet existed.
On a typewriter?
Yeah, we had word processors.
That's your computer.
That's not the internet.
Is the solar storm just going to knock out the internet and no other electronic stuff?
I don't know. You could read into it. We're not. I don't want to talk about the solar storm right now. I don't know why that came up. It just did. But what I do want to talk about is the Duracoat finished firearm of the week. That's what I want to talk about. All right. In my hot little hands, you say, I saw that one last week. That's the AKU. Nope, it's not. Try again. The one you saw last week was a 7.62 by 39, wood stocked, wood forend, standard configuration AK. This one is an AK-74, which has a side folding wire stock, which I actually really like a lot. And you're like, ooh, that magazine doesn't look like a 7.62 magazine. It's because it's not. It is a 5.45 by 39, and it has a big, cool crink break on the front of it, which came into vogue when the 5.45 got popular. I'll show you the other side. I did not hell and back weather this one. I just treated it. I put a base coat of slightly darker black on it as a rail system, as you can see. I put a base coat of slightly darker black on it, and then I use what day did we correct my color issue? Was it on a grad program or was it on Wednesday?
I think it was on a grad program, unfortunately.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and correct that now. So last Monday, I said that the colors from the folks at Duracoat, that the Duracoat colors were Vortex green and Spetsnaz yellow. And I was right and wrong at the same time. The Russian special forces are the Spetsnaz, right? But if you go to Duracoat Firearm Finishes.com, you won't find Spetsnaz yellow. What you'll find is Russian special forces yellow. Zach called me out on that one, and it was good that he did, because in my brain, I substituted Russian special forces for Spetsnaz, right? Because I know that. My brain says, yeah, RSF is Spetsnaz. But if you go to a Duracoat Firearm Finishes, and Zach said there is no Spetsnaz yellow, and I said yes there is, and he said no there's not, and I said okay you're right. So the colors that I used to do this Rhodesian style brushstroke looking Rhodesian style camo on this gun were the base coat, slightly darker black. The green, Vortex green. They have 60. Jared, did you know that they have 64 colors of green in the Duracoat catalog?
Oh, wow.
There's 64 variations of green.
So what you're saying is if I have a color of green that I'd like to have on my gun, I could probably get it.
Pretty close. I think if you close your eyes.
Close your mind's eye. Close your mind's eye.
Close your eyes and think of a green. They probably have it. So Vortex green, Russian Special Forces yellow, which is kind of a brown yellowish, and that's it. That is how I did this. This is a 5.45 by 39, and yes, I do have ammo because I knew better than to not have ammo. They're like, well, that's great for you, but I can't find ammo. We're not even going to talk about that. If somebody says to me, well, that's nice, but I can't find ammo for that, I'm thinking, I don't know where you've been and what you've been doing or where you've been living, but if you don't have ammo, that's your fault. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Because this guy has been screaming into this microphone for literal years. Remember when we did the ammo can challenge, Jared? That was, 14, 15?
Yeah, that was.
And I said, on payday, go out and buy 1 box of ammo or 2 boxes of ammo each payday, dump them into a can, and keep doing that till the can's full. And now you're good.
The problem with that is, you want to know what it is?
What's that? What's the problem?
The problem is that we have so many self-sufficient self-starters in our audience that if you're self-employed, you don't have a normal payday like other people. And so you're like, well, how many boxes do I get this time? Like, what do I do?
Yeah,
if you're
that's
self-employed, we have a plan for you.
Yeah, that's right.
You just email me and I'll give you the plan.
I'll give you the plan. That's right.
If I get a request, I'm going to have to develop a plan because we don't really have a plan.
So the AK-74 in Russian camo, and you can do it too. And as I said last week, obviously he's like, well, you had 2 guns that are both done up in that. Did you do them with the same cans? Yup. If you buy the Canon can technology, the Canon cans from Duracoat, unless you're just going to do one single color. If you're going to do one single color, then it's probably 1 can for a large gun, for a long gun, right? A rifle or a shotgun or something like that. But if you're going to do a camouflage pattern where you're only actually putting green or yellow or blue or purple or pink, I don't know what you're doing. If you're going to put that on like half or a quarter or a small percentage of the gun, then you're going to get a lot. I've told you this before. I always have a couple extra things because I know there's going to be some paint left, some Duracoat color left in the cans. I did 2 rifles and an ammo can in the Russian brushstroke camouflage pattern. and I actually still had a little bit left over. So when you look at the cans, you're like, oh, that seems like it's a lot. Well, it's Duracoat. It's gonna, if you do it right, you can pass that rifle or shotgun or pistol or whatever down to your grandkids, and the finish will still be good. So you can do that, and there's obviously enough to do multiple projects. So what you have to do with your brain housing group is you need to think, okay, before I crack the seal and mix the paint, the Duracoat, before I mix the hardener and the Duracoat, before I mix it all up, what am I going to do? And that's what I do. I go into the locker and I'm like, what could use a refinishing? And the can thing is easy. You're like, I have a couple of ammo cans, 2 or 3, so I can do those. So there you go, cats and kittens, and I please forgive me for the messing up the Russian Special Forces term with Spetsnaz, even though they're interchangeable, but they're not. So, and you know what probably happened, Jared? People probably called Duracoat and said, I was listening to Paul Markle, and he said, you have Spetsnaz yellow, and it's not in your catalog. But the good news is the people at Duracoat are smart, and they're like, oh, what you want is RSF. You want Russian Special Forces yellow, because that's what it is. I say, okay.
That's funny.
And can I get
we know
the Bruce Jenner commemorative now?
Yeah, I would say that we know that there's a history of problems being dealt to customer service representatives and it was our fault, and we're sorry about that. But at the same time,
in
it's
fairness,
like sarcasm, guys. Come on.
I like to keep their lives interesting. So
yes, yeah, they're like, excuse me, the what product? We don't have that.
Yep.
But Paul Markle said you do. So
he did. He said you have a Bruce Jenner commemorative, and I want to order it.
That's funny. Man, that goes back so far. Those of you that are OG listeners, those of you that are OG listeners, you get the joke. If you're not an OG listener, you go back to episode number 001. Start from there, and you will hear the joke.
You can probably jump ahead to 50.
No, you have to start at 1.
All right, we already talked about Duracoat, firearmfinishes.com, because life is
too short to have an ugly gun.
All right, Crossbreed Holsters, we talked about those kids a little bit ago.
Oh,
they're up there in Springfield, Missouri. Miss Our
Is that
Eye.
new thing? Is that new thing that they sent? Is that public now?
Yeah, we talked about it last Wednesday.
Oh, that's right. Duh.
The executive, the
the
N8
executive.
Tactical Executive Holster.
Have you tested that?
Yeah, I wore it. Appendix.
I like it a lot.
I canted it.
I think it's my new favorite.
Really?
Yeah, I'll know more in like a week or a little bit more than that. I'll probably give it a month.
So did you get another one? You got a G-Lock one? Or
yeah, I got one for a G19, yeah.
19.
And I've been testing it out, and it's very, very comfortable for me. So I will report back after a month of testing.
All right, but if you want a Super Tuck Deluxe, if you want a Reckoning, if you want a chest rig, if you want the belts, they make some really good belts. It's all 100% made in the USA out of premium leather, whether it's horsehide leather or cow leather. Just go to crossbreedholsters.com. Use the promotional code SOTG. Be a happy camper. Save money. Deep breath. Brownells at brownells.com. What's going on with them? Well, lots of stuff. And actually, I received a text message about a rifle that they had on sale, and we're going to talk about that on Wednesday. And I knew about it because I texted BRN to 556-223, and I got that message. All right, this month is October. Thank you for reminding me, Paul. Yep. And the SDS Imports Giveaway of the month is the Duo Sys 12-gauge shotgun, and it is Duo because you can use it as a pump action if you want, or you can use it as a semi-automatic if you want.
Hey,
and
it's pretty neat.
I just remembered something. Did we announce the winner of the last one?
No, we were going to wait till Jared. We were going to wait till Jared got here.
We
so
do
he's
have
here,
the winner.
So do that.
Confirmed. And the winner's name is,
Well,
I believe, Nicholas.
SDS.
Yes, the winner has confirmed.
Yeah.
And so there you go.
Wait,
I will
how did he
get a
confirm?
name.
Tyler.
Slack.com. There we go. I just want to make sure that it was the original winner that we picked that did confirm it. We didn't have to re-pick a new one.
Which happens quite often.
The winner that was on SOTGgiveaway.com is where you go to enter the giveaway. The winner for last month, September 2021 SDS Imports Giveaway of the Month is Nicholas Nussbaum. And he's already confirmed, sent us a FFL, and we are going to get that pistol shipped off to him. He gets a one-of-a-kind.
A one-of-a-kind.
That is pretty cool.
Sierra Desert. What does it say on it? Sahara Desert? Sahara Brown or something? See, we've been calling it a flat dark earth, but I looked at the label on the gun box, and it says, like, Sahara Desert or something like that, or Sahara Brown or something. So, I don't know. It's people do stuff, but it's definitely a one-of-a-kind. It's definitely a one-of-a-kind. And Nicholas, I oiled it for you. I cleaned it and oiled it for you. So when you disassemble it, if you see a tinge of red EDC CLP, that's because I did that for you, and you're welcome. And that was a one-time thing. I'm not going to oil and clean all the guns for all the people who win this year. So calm down. All right, that's not happening. But for this particular instance, that is what happened. So there you go. But I did take a rag and wipe all my fingerprints off of it. Yeah, I did do that. Okay. High Point Firearms is located at highpointfirearms.com or highpoint.com or something. And I talked to my friend Dave. I said, Dave, how's the Gen 2 coming? He said, it's coming. I said, and he said, and that's it. It's coming.
By the way, it's hi-pointfirearms.com. So hi-pointfirearms.com.
Yeah, not HIGH, but
hi-pointfirearms.com.
Yeah. He said, it's coming. So just cool your jets, Jack. I said, okay, I'll cool my jets. Oh, what do we do every Monday? Well, every Monday I close the hole under my nose and I allow Zach to hit the button. And if you're a new listener, or even if you're not, pay attention anyway.
Attention, new listeners. We produced a complimentary online training course called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. Get instant access by joining the Student Lounge for free at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of these questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
Oh, all right. All right. So, winter is coming. Winter is coming. There we go. The scary music. We should have had a theme for this, but we can't use themes because if we use themes, then they'll say that was copywritten. Every socialist media platform will. You know, the socialist media platform of Fascist Book pulled our video down on Liberty Mastermind because they said we referenced a Saturday Night Live story. We played 14 seconds of it, and they said that was copywritten, and you're not allowed to use it and talk about it. And we said, yes, we are, because it was in a news article. It was in a news story. And they said, we don't care. We're fascists, and we do what we want. Speaking of being fascist, Jared, did you see the story? And this is when stories just keep floating. I looked it up. Somebody posted a thing and they said, did you see that Facebook cut off all news stories and the ability for Australians to share news? And I looked that up and it was actually from last summer. And it was a true story, but it was like 3 or 4 days after they did that, they recanted and went back on it. But the thing is, that's not the story. What do you mean it's not the story? The fact that you say, well, why did they do it? Why did Facebook essentially, why did they censor news and censor or throttle or inhibit the ability of Facebook users in Australia to see news and also to share news with their friends, peers, whatever? Why? And that's what everybody's talking about. Everyone was talking about at the time. They're like, why would they do that? Why would they do that? Why would they do that? And Paul Markle is here to say, that's not the story. Well, what do you mean it's not the story? Sure it is. That's the story. No. The story is, how did we allow a monopoly to get so big that at any point in time, regardless of their excuse, reason, whatever, regardless of the reason, how did we allow ourselves to be put in a position where one man or a man and his cronies can hit a button or a series of buttons and shut off your ability to communicate? That is the story. Not, well, Zuckerberg was in a tiff with the guy from the Australian government, and they were going back and forth, and the guy from the Australian government is like, you suck. And Zuckerberg's like, no, you suck. He's like, no, you suck even more. Oh, yeah? Well, you suck so much, I'm going to turn off your news. Is it a good or a bad thing to give a monopoly the power and authority to censor and silence you? That's the story. And that's where it gets lost. They were like, well, what? It's not just that Zuckerberg did that. You need to ask why. I mean, maybe he was justified. Maybe he had a good reason for it. No, that's not the good reason. The reason is, or the story is, well, how do we get to the point where we gave someone the authority to silence us, to censor us? You're like, that is the story of the Facebook shutting off the news service to Australia and prohibiting Facebook users in Australia from sharing news. And the thing is, it wasn't like, hey, here's a picture of my puppy dog. Would everyone like to see it? No, it was, no one cares about your puppy dog. That's not important. But if there's a news story that says, hey, this storm happened, or this politician is a criminal, or, Joe Biden killed 10 innocent people to try and cover up his mistake, that's a news story. That's what was being censored. Not pictures of your puppy or your freaking ZD recipe or your favorite meme about thank God it's Monday or something like that. Is that a good or a bad thing? Well, it's not.
They can censor the news story. They can censor your favorite picture of the cat or the favorite cat video too.
Yeah, but the thing is,
just because they don't doesn't mean they can't.
Yeah, the cat video has nothing to do with liberty or freedom of expression or freedom of thought or freedom of assembly. This story here, and what's really sad is how in the United States, we have to go overseas to find news stories, because in the United States, they're like, that's not that big of a deal. You don't need to know that. You don't need to know that. Just go on being afraid. Get your shot. Wear your mask, and be afraid. So this story, you're like, wow, that's really old. It's from 2 whole weeks ago. From 2 whole weeks ago. Well, I'm sure, Jared, in the last 2 weeks, this problem has been solved. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's fixed itself. You see, we came to you guys about a month or 2 ago, maybe 2 months ago, and we said, hey, there's a problem. And this was reported to us in person by people who actually affected. At the time, we said there's either 38 or 40 container ships just sitting off the coast of California not being unloaded. And that was a big deal. And at the time, 38 ships was a record. We're in brand new territory, because as of 2 weeks ago, it was more than 60 vessels were sitting off the coast of California. And here's what you're not being told. It's not just California. See, a lot of folks are like, well, that's California, and stuff happens, and da 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 da, and it's all China, blah blah blah. Did you know that there are also ships? There's actually, what's neat about this story, Jared, if you're scrolling through it, there's a map, and the same thing's happening on the East Coast in New York. Because, Long Island, Long Beach, Long Island area, there's a lot of marine, that's shipping, marine traffic there. People in Pennsylvania and Maryland, they don't primarily get their stuff from California. It comes into New York, gets offloaded in either New Jersey or Long Island, and then they put it on trucks and they ship it to you. So the other thing is, the Port Authority in New York and New Jersey, we're seeking comment from them because according to our maps, they have ships just sitting off of the coast, lingering, not being unloaded. You say, all right, well, whatever. It's not really a whatever, kids. It's not just your wish.com package that's sitting on those ships. Jared, what's on those ships? What do we know?
Everything that is on those ships. We've got the stuff that people buy every day.
Well, not only the stuff that people buy, the stuff that auto manufacturers need to finish cars. Jared, this affects you. Less than 1 mile away from you, there's a great big lot, and it's filled with brand new trucks.
Not anymore.
Oh, did they get rid of them? Did they move them out?
Yeah, they finally got the chips in. So the chips were delivered, and I saw the other day I drove by and it was mostly gone. And so there were hundreds of finished vehicles, Chevy Silverados, I think they were, that were just sitting there waiting for the electronic chips to show up so that they China. So that they could put them out on the lot and sell them. Right.
We've talked about this. It's not just cars. It's cars, trucks, and big trucks. Big trucks.
Big lake,
big trucks. You say, okay, well, I don't care. Jared, what's going on with Costco and water and paper towels and toilet paper?
There's not enough drivers to bring it to, at least last time I checked, that was 2 months ago, but there weren't enough drivers to bring water or anything over.
Well, Costco announced Thursday that it was bringing back limits on purchases of items like toilet paper, paper towels, and bottled water. Pandemic port congestion and labor shortages have forced retail chains, including Costco, to spend more on transportation. Winter is coming, ladies and gentlemen, in the United States of America, and for the rest of the world too, but most of you are in the USA. Winter is coming in more than one way. Yeah, it's going to get cold. But when I believe from the Game of Thrones mythology there, that when Eddard Stark was saying winter is coming, they didn't mean, yeah, it's going to get cold and it's going to snow. They meant hard times are on the way. There are going to be hard times, and the whole winter is coming thing was meant as an advisory, as a warning, as a reminder. Winter is coming. You need to be prepared. That's the other part of the sentence. Winter is coming. You need to get ready for it. And my question to you guys in the audience is, what have you done? What are you doing to prepare for the winter? Our economy is going into a winter. You say, no, it's not. Someone said to me, well, it wasn't someone shared an op-ed that the free market will correct itself. So calm down and everything's going to be fine.
Correction takes time.
Not only does correction take time, but I want you to tell me honestly, how a free market exists under a criminal socialist regime. How can a free market exist when the people in Washington are doing everything they possibly can to stifle and destroy the free market? There's no free market in America when the country is run by criminals. For those of you, and I appreciate the optimism. Believe me, I do. I appreciate the optimism of, oh, well, you know, Paul, I mean, things happen and you know, the free market will correct itself and supply and demand. When there are forces deliberately limiting supply, when there are forces deliberately forcing the cost of energy to go up. All right, everybody who has a business, in case you haven't figured this out, whether it's people who put vegetables into cans, whether it's people who cut turkeys up into tasty deli meat, whether it's people who manufacture cars or trucks or any of the crap that you buy at Walmart or Target, those people all need energy to run their businesses. Can we all agree on that? Boys, can you agree with me? Or if you think I'm wrong, say I'm wrong.
I agree.
So they don't need energy, Dad. You're wrong.
They don't. Ever.
That's right.
You could produce your own energy now.
That's right. Yeah, you just get a bunch of squirrels and have them run on treadmills. So when businesses have to pay more for energy, where do they get that money? They put it into the cost of the stuff they sell.
They definitely don't pass it down to the consumer because trickle-down economics is not a thing and it doesn't make any sense.
Did you see the quote from that Raggedy Ann doll, the designated liar?
What is it? It's unfair and unthinkable.
It's unthinkable that businesses would raise their prices just because we raised their tax rate.
What?
Yes.
Zach, someone said a video clip.
Someone said to her, they said, well, yeah, but you're talking about raising taxes on businesses, and that's going to force everything that they make to go up in cost. And this psycho-socialist Raggedy Ann doll, the designated liar, said, no, that's unthinkable that they would do that. Okay. Energy. Jared, since we've lived here, a refill on a standard, your standard household or propane canister, right? Your normal propane one, the one you put on your camper trailer or whatever. I'm not sure the exact weight of those. It's like a 16.5 pounds of propane or whatever. It's like a 25-pound cylinder or 20-pound cylinder. Since we've been here, yes, it's absolutely unfair and absurd that companies would raise their prices because of higher tax rates. Is that an actual audio clip, Zach?
I can check.
All right, check and see if it's an audio clip.
Here, I have one for you.
Well, either way, let me finish my sentence and then we'll do this.
Okay.
It's been either $18.99 or $19.99, depending on which business you went to get a refill and exchange. You give them the empty one, they give you a full one, right? It jumped $4 to $23.99. That's not normal market economics. That's not normal. That is not normal. A $4 jump is not normal. A 50 cent, 75 cent, maybe a $1 jump is normal. A $4 jump is not normal. Gasoline prices. We all know this. A year ago in October, gasoline was averaging $1.89 a gallon. Now it's $3.79. That's reality. When energy costs go up and it's not part of the normal economic cycle, okay, when the president of the United States says, yeah, we were going to do this energy self-sufficiency thing, but it might hurt the environment, so I'm going to shut it down, and I'm going to force us to get our energy from foreign countries. That sent the energy costs through the roof. That means, okay, are we ready? Okay.
I don't know. Are we?
Well, go ahead and play this Psycho Chucky doll.
All right.
There. Say, Jen Psaki, when President
No,
Biden...
that's not the right one.
Up.
I sent you a new link.
Up. Sorry. Un momento. Dad, continue to talk.
Okay. Energy prices are going up. Companies have to pay more for energy. They're going to pass that price along to you as an increase in what you buy. Whether it's corn in a can, whether it's a car, doesn't matter what it is. Parts and components are harder to get. We know this. There are 600,000 shipping containers. No, I'm sorry. FedEx had to reroute 600,000 packages because of these ships. There are literally hundreds of thousands of containers with millions upon millions upon millions of pieces, parts, components sitting, lingering off the coast. And they're just slowly trickling in. So that means manufacturers are fighting over the limited number of parts that are coming in. Our friend Justin is working on a truck. He needed what did he need? A component for the brakes, right? Now, granted, it's a 78 or 77 or something like that. He said he searched and searched and searched and found one in the United States. Well, what one from that company? No, one total. So people that are waiting on parts for trucks, you say, all right, there's 10,000 people waiting on water pumps for that model of truck, and 500 come in on a shipper container. So now, if you have 500 pieces and 10,000 customers are trying to buy them, where does the price go, Jared? Up or down?
Up.
It goes up if you can find it. Parts and components and pieces are hard to find. Construction is up. Materials are up. They've leveled off, but they're still up. They're nowhere near they were 1 year ago today. Employees. The criminals in Washington are trying to pass another indebtedness bill, another bill to put the country farther in debt than it ever has been in the history of the world, and pay more people not to work. So, what are we seeing? It's not just, everyone's like, oh, well, all these jobs that are open, they're just entry-level service industry jobs. You're not good jobs. No, idiot. Idiot who said that. They're everywhere. Every manufacturing plant, they're all looking for employees. And what are they doing to try and attract employees, Jared? What are they doing to try and attract employees?
I have no idea.
They're raising their wages, or they're adding benefits, right? They're trying to attract people. They're trying to attract people off of welfare, off of unemployment, to come work for them. And because people are like, well, I can just sit home on my butt and play Xbox and get $12 an hour. Why would I go and actually work and pay taxes and stuff for less than that?
Zach, you got that clip ready?
Yes, indeed, I do.
All right, go ahead and play the clip. This is Psycho Chucky Doll.
I want to ask you about what Republicans are pointing to in the analysis from the Joint Committee on Taxation. They say, according to, if I've read the chart correctly, more than 16% of taxpayers would see their taxes increase under the bill that's approved by the House Ways and Means Committee. Will the president sign that bill as it is coming out of that committee, or will he insist on the changes so that he will maintain his commitment that taxes won't go up on people making $400,000 a year?
I have not looked at the document or the report that you have put out. Obviously, the president, or that you have referenced, I should say, that the Republicans put out. Obviously, the president's commitment remains not raising taxes for anyone making less than $400,000 a year. There are some, and I'm not sure if this is the case in this report, who argue that in the past, companies have passed on these costs to consumers. I'm not sure if that's the argument being made in this report. We feel that that's unfair and absurd, and the American people would not stand for that. But I will take a closer look at this report and get you a more substantive response.
Okay, stop. So this
What?
we feel that that's unfair and absurd. That's economics, you psycho. This is what happens when people go to Washington and they don't have to produce. When money just comes to them. They don't have to produce results. They don't have to turn a profit. They don't have to labor. They don't have to sweat and invest and wonder, hey, maybe my investment won't work. And if we don't do things right, we'll go bankrupt. No, because none of that happens, because they always get their money. It's unfair and absurd to think that companies would raise prices because their taxes went up. And the American people won't stand for it. What are you talking about? The American people won't stand for it? What choice do they have?
Who do you think runs the businesses? Not American people?
Yeah, Martians, I guess. It's space aliens that are running these businesses.
You know what?
So you expect to just have increase in cost, and the business is not going to recover that in some way or another.
You just go bankrupt.
No, that's what they want. That's what they want. What they want is, and just she just kind of put herself in the sympathetic scenario, which is, if the companies increase their prices, the American people won't stand for it. What they're trying to do is they're trying to villainize the businesses for something that the government is making them do.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then what you do is you go to the government and you say, hey, it's mean and unfair that I have to pay that. Like, yeah, but that's what it costs to make and sell it. I don't care. There needs to be a government program to force that company to sell it to me for the price I want to pay. And of course, that is the end goal of socialism, communism, totalitarianism. It's to control business. Ladies and gentlemen, if the government controls business, the government controlled all the businesses in the Soviet Union. That worked out great. The government controlled all the businesses in Venezuela. Farming, food production, oil, all that. That worked out great, didn't it? What do you mean? Everything's great in Venezuela. No, actually, it's not. People were eating zoo animals. They ran out. Now they're eating rats and flamingos. It is not great. So when people say, well, Paul, Aaron, calm down there, Mr. Sky is falling. The free market will correct itself. If the free market is allowed to exist, but it doesn't, because this isn't a free market. When the government punishes businesses with higher taxes, and what the mother effing mother fornicator does Joe Biden need all this money for? What's he going to spend it on? Well, it goes to his supporters and to congressmen and senators as money laundering schemes, and is kicked back into their pockets. Kids, winter is coming. Okay, energy costs go up. That raises the price of goods. Parts and components, pieces and stuff, raw materials are more expensive and harder to find. That raises the prices of goods. Employers can't get employees to work, so they essentially have to bribe people to come to work. That raises the price of the goods. All of these things mean that you are going to pay more for everything. Your gasoline, your propane, your canned food, your frozen food, your fresh food. What do you think it takes to move cattle from a ranch to a slaughterhouse, from the slaughterhouse to you? Energy. Don't trains run for free? Don't trucks run for free? Doesn't the lights go on in the slaughterhouse for free? No. You are the one that's going to hold the bag, not Joe Biden and his psycho Chucky doll designated liar, because they don't have to produce. They just take. They're the ultimate parasite. Winter is coming. And someone said, well, yeah, but it'll balance out because, eventually, and another person pointed out very, rightfully so, they're like, yeah, but these employees that were paid at inflationary rates to come work, when things balance out and let's say energy prices come down or whatever, and so now the employers are making less money and the manufacturers are making less money, do you think the employees are all going to get together and take a reduction in pay? Are they going to say, well, yeah, that $18 an hour that I was making was really inflated and I didn't really deserve 18, so let's go ahead and kick it down to 12. Does that work? No, that doesn't work. Would you do that? Would you allow someone to hire you for $18 an hour and then 2 years later say, hey, things have stabilized and prices are down and we can't make as much, we can't sell things for as much as we used to, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to drop you down to 12. No, you'd say, forget that, and you'd quit. Or you'd go on strike, whatever. What are you doing to prepare your family and your household? Because winter is coming, and that's the really real world. Actions have consequences. And you allowing this criminal regime to be installed in Washington, D.C., and to manipulate you day in and day out. I mean, holy cow. When you allow a government to tell you whether or not you're allowed to leave your house, could you possibly be more manipulated? Actions have consequences. And sorry, but you're going to pay for that in the coming years, until you as a collective American society decide, no, we don't want criminals in Washington, D.C. anymore, and we're going to do something about it. But until that time, this is the reality, so you better prepare yourself. Don't say I didn't warn you.
We have a question. The question
Send
is,
it.
what is the difference between an AK-47 and an AK-74?
Well, there's lots of cosmetic differences, but the primary difference is the 47 uses the 7.62 by 39 cartridge, and the 74 uses the 5.45 by 39 cartridge. There's, like I said, there's cosmetic things, and super, AK geeks will say, well, the stock, the forend, the pistol grip is like this, but the main difference, the action is all the same. It's Kalashnikov action. Same triggers, same safety levers, same magazine releases, so forth. Different magazines, different cartridges.
So the primary difference is what?
The cartridge.
Okay.
So there you go. Wednesday. The 350 Legend. We're going to talk about that. And you're like, okay. Yes, we are. And our Tasers arms? ? We'll dive into that and more on Wednesday's episode. Until then, remember, you're a beginner once.
You're a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.
And that was the first episode for today. Dad already ran off because he had to use the bathroom. I also need to use the bathroom. Also, there's a strange noise outside, so possibly the apartment's on fire. We'll find out. Yeah. So, Jared, anything you want to say before we go to
Nope.
the BRB sound? All right.
Go ahead and do the BRB.
We'll be back at approximately 10:58 or 10:55, somewhere around that time. So, see you guys then. And guess who's back first? Per usual. Hello there. So, how's everybody been doing today? How's everybody been enjoying the shows? Or the show singular so far? Push. Fix that up. Doon. And push again. They should be back. Up, there he is. There's his head at least. And there's the good old professor. Hey, Justin. He is still muted, though, so we cannot hear him fiddling with stuff. He's wiping his eyes. Must be tired. Didn't have enough coffee in his system yet. Oh boy, I can enter the Microsoft Sweep $10,000 Microsoft Store holiday shopping spree for Oh, it's a sweepstakes entry. Okay. I was like, really? For 200 points, I can get $10,000? That's exciting. Sure, there's no strings attached to that at all. But if it's just a sweepstakes, then that makes more sense. Isn't that right, Dad? Who is muted? Still muted. There
I didn't
you are.
mute me. Did you mute me, you fucker?
Jared muted you.
Oh.
Then push. All right.
Okay. Are we live on?
Pull. Oh, wait. There we go. Sometimes this
really?
like gets stuck. But yeah, we're still live everywhere.
All right. Yeah, I was really not happy yesterday to see.
Yeah,
I was really not happy yesterday to see that the price of propane, a refill, had jumped.
Yep.
$4 per.
Yeah, something really worrying happened like yesterday, which is I went to the store to get a couple like little things for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized it's like, oh yeah, the price of produce has gone up and most of it is shit or poop. It's bad quality.
Well, we're not. Yeah.
So we're streaming to the public.
I'm
It's
so
best
fucking
to-
angry at the Marine Corps right now.
Never mind. Oh, what'd they do?
That Colonel Scheller, who like called out the fucking malfeasance
Oh, that.
in Afghanistan. They threw him in the fucking brig.
Yep.
And now they've released him from the brig, but they're charging him.
With.
It says less than a day after the Marines freed Lieutenant Colonel Scheller from the Camp Lejeune brig, the brass ordered him to stand trial by a special court-martial for his social media post demanding senior leaders be held accountable for the failed operations in Afghanistan. He is 100% fucking correct. And fuck the Marine Corps and fuck those generals.
Yeesh.
This is going to be Thursday's topic.
All right.
I am so disgusted.
But so what
With
are
the
they?
Marine Corps.
What are they charging him with? I know.
Like he made political statements while in uniform and how that's a violation. So basically they want to be able to so they want to be able to be inept and corrupt and fuck can say anything about it. We can just be completely shitty and fucking corrupt. Take it. You just have to like smile. Was a general.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Dad.
I know. It's imagine that, you know. how I feel about the fucking organization that I've devoted my life to is now become a fucking corrupt political organization.
I mean, yeah. Like, I don't know if I've actually said it on the show, but it just, I don't know, we're getting to the point where it's like, just, it's stuff like this where you go, the people who are like, if anything goes down, the military will be on our side. No, they won't.
No, they won't.
No, they won't, because they're weeding out the people who would be on your side.
Yeah, anybody who would be on your side is being broomed, and that's what I've been trying to tell people. They're like, somebody said something about all these police officers losing their jobs because refusing to get vaccinated, and I said it's the ones who stayed that you need to be worried about. What do you mean? Somebody who's willing to care for the health and safety of their family is a threat to you somehow?
Yes.
Yeah. You're going to learn. All you fucking people are going to learn. You're going to learn the fucking hard way. Yeah, because what you want in law enforcement, in the military, you want people that will do anything they're told. Yeah. And without thinking.
If you're listening and you have somebody you are in the military, congratulations. They probably don't want you there. If you know somebody who they're a good Marine, a good soldier, a good Air Force pilot, someone who would stand up for what's right, they don't want them there.
No.
They'll have them there for now, but
they want people, and they started doing this during Obama when they started brooming all of the fucking all the general officers. They started with their fucking Mickey Mouse bullshit. They created a situation where self-starters and intelligent people who were able to think for themselves said, look, I don't need this Mickey Mouse fucking bullshit. I don't need to be here with this bullshit. I can do other good things. And so the people that stayed was what have I called them? Pensioners. The people that'll just do anything for money.
I don't care. Just
pay me. As long as I get my money.
As long as I do my, what is it? 5 years, 3 years? How long can you get until you get a military pension? 20 years? 20 years? Yeah. I'm going to go here, do my 20, probably do my best to dodge any actual conflict.
Yeah, do the least I can for 20 years. I won't take a stand. I won't do anything. You know, I'll just go along. And then I'll get my money. I got a good job with benefits, and I go fuck that up.
Yeah. And if you are a serviceman, if you are a cop, and you're like, no, fuck that. If anything goes down, I ain't freaking just doing whatever Biden says. Good on you. Rock on. They don't want you there. They don't want you among their ranks.
Yep. Yep.
And that's something we've been seeing over the last freaking, like you said, realistically, 20, like it's. I think it's been since before Obama.
Yeah, I saw it.
The sprinklings have started.
Yeah, I saw it in earnest, and I've said for years and years and years, if we ever lose the Marine Corps, we're going to lose this country. Have I not said that?
Yes, I remember you saying that for a long time. And
if we lose the Marine Corps, we'll lose this country. Yeah. We've lost it. We've lost it. Every time people walk into a grocery store or a whatever, anytime you go shopping and you have to pull out your fucking checkbook or credit card to buy something, you should be pissed. You should be fucking pissed off. You should be angry as fuck. And not at the manufacturers. It's not their fault. They're not the ones that fucking doubled the price of energy.
So where's Jared at?
I don't know. I guess he's pooping. He went to shit and the hogs ate him.
Gross. So on a less horribly depressing note, happy 29th birthday to Mortal Kombat. October
Happy
8th,
29th birthday to Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
Well, there you go.
October 8th, 1992 was the arcade debut of Mortal Kombat, and here we are, one of the biggest franchises on Earth. Like, not one of, but like top. Yeah, probably. I'd say Mortal Kombat's like top 50, top 100.
I am about to drink eucalyptus tea that is enhanced with Spur Ranch honey.
Delicious. The other day when we went to
born and raised on the Spur Ranch.
The other day when Sammy and I went to that little patch what do you call it? Like
the pumpkin patch.
The thing where you go and you pick your own vegetables and you weigh them and you like the farm thing. What do you call that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The other day,
self-serve
grocery store, sure.
Or pick and grab, or I can't remember.
Anybody listening? Do you know what the hell that's called? Yeah. Whatever.
You Picket Farm.
We went to a picket farm, and we got a jar of most of the stuff we picked by now we've either eaten or has gone bad because we got a lot of stuff. But we got a jar of like locally made raspberry jelly, and that's good stuff. It is real good stuff.
Justin said his propane went up $1 a gallon almost.
Yeah, I saw that.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Propane and propane accessories. All right. So, how are we feeling? We about ready to start the next episode?
Yeah, we're going to start the next episode.
All right, one moment. Let me update something. I hear baby noises.
Oh, you heard that?
Oh,
Yeah.
very clearly.
Wow.
Is she mad? Is she yelling? Or is she
No,
happy?
that was
or...
happy.
That was a happy. Okay.
Happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy. Oh, that's another thing. I got a game coming out today. I'm excited about.
Oh, I was going to ask you, Zachary.
Hi.
I was going to ask you, are they releasing a new COD for this Christmas,
Of
like
course they
normal,
are.
or are they going to just keep rolling over the current one?
I know. Call of Duty Vanguard is coming out.
And what's that all about?
I think they're going back to World War II. COD Vanguard. The best World War II game.
Okay.
As proclaimed
Because-
by CallOfDuty.com, the best World War II
CallOfDuty.com rated their new game the best one ever.
initial release date. No, that's wrong because that was the demo. Yeah. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
Oh, no, because they just rolled over season 6 of the current one
Yeah.
of Cold War. And
November 5th.
you know, who was it that was which guy in which Call of Duty he was strapped to a chair and he had all the TV monitors
Mason.
around him? Mason.
What are the numbers?
Okay. So they just did that again. So
Yep.
in season 6, the season 6 intro is a dude who's strapped to a chair and there's all these TV monitors around him. He's being tortured.
What are the numbers
they
mean,
come and-
Mason?
Rescue him.
Yeah.
And guess what map they just released?
I don't know.
Burger Town.
Burger Town. Oh,
But-
that was
but
a
Burger-
Modern Warfare 2 map.
Yeah, but Burger Town in this one, the map is called America with a K, and it's a Soviet Union. Supposedly, it's built to be an American city, and it's a Soviet military training facility that's built to be to look like an American city, and they have these generic America stuff in them, like they have a movie theater and they have Burger Town, and I just played one. It's a relatively small map. It's kind of like it's not as small as Shipment, but it's kind of about the size maybe of a Nuketown map. But there's a lot of indoor stuff. There's a lot of indoor building stuff. So it's a crappy map for aerial strikes because you can stay indoors almost the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people are getting excited for Battlefield 2042, but it's like, I don't know. I'm just not that interested in Battlefield because I've played a couple Battlefield games. It's just, I don't know. I don't like the feel. I don't like.
I tried to play one and I got killed like 87 times in the first 15 minutes, and I essentially said, "Fuck this shit.
I'm out."
Because I know how to play first-person shooters, and
Do you?
Yeah.
well, I do.
Do you
I
actually, though?
I kick some motherfuckers' asses.
I don't. I get
Oh
killed.
yeah.
I ruined your KD spread.
Yeah, you do, you dick. But
I'm good at free
between you and Caden.
Oh yeah,
That day that kid played and he got killed like 12 times in a row, and I was like, there goes my KD.
that's funny.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I just don't like Battlefield, but I'm pretty good with free for all because I'm less self-conscious in a way, you know. I'm more like into just running around doing my own thing, and then I end up like I'm not thinking about other people. I'm not thinking that like there's friends behind me and stuff. I'm just like kill everyone you see or hear.
Oh man, you know what they added to the arsenal? They added a Galil.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, they added a fucking Galil. How cool is that? Because I was wondering.
Are we still live?
Oh yeah, we're still alive.
Well, we're not recording, but yeah, people can hear us.
No, we're
so
recording.
the
Actually,
dude
we're
who's on the
recording.
cover, and it was yesterday they released it. The guy who's on the cover's got a rifle over his shoulder, and I was looking at it, and I was like, that kind of looks like a Galil. And yep, they Galil. And I'm sure they don't call it a Galil. They probably call it something else. But and then if you look at Burger Town, it's an authentic all-American experience in a Russian training ground. And it's like the old Burger Town where you can climb up on the roof with the ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool. That's cool. They got a new one called Deprogram, which I haven't played yet.
I think that's the map with the. I think that's where they did.
That's where they held him hostage.
Yeah.
That's where
Because there's
Mason's
a whole
being held hostage.
there was a whole thing after the Mason thing.
All right, you guys want to know how, and you kids can listen too out there. Hi, your brain. You can only get. Oh, okay. You know how your brain like just holds on to stuff.
Yeah.
So last night I was dreaming that we went to a trade show, and we went into the Keltec booth, and it was really super nice. And Derek was there. Derek Kelgren was there. And what was funny, Jared, was Murray was there, and he was working for Keltec.
Oh yeah,
because we talked about it.
Yeah.
And so in the Keltec booth, they had a new version of the Tech 9, right? Because George Kelgren is the guy who designed that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that? George Kelgren did. But the pistol grip was screwy, and it was almost horizontal to the body of the gun. And I said, what is up with this? And they said, oh, because we don't want people holding it like this and shooting it. We want them to have to do this. And I said, but then they said, but you can take that off and put a different one on. I was like, okay.
That's funny.
But the reason I was thinking about, because I'm telling Derek in my dream at the Keltec booth, I was like, well, I just unlocked that on Call of Duty, and he like rolled his eyes at me, and he's like, yeah, I know.
He's not a
but I actually did. So I did that because I saw the Tech 9 was one of the unlockable submachine guns, but it's not a submachine gun initially. Have you noticed that, Zach?
Yeah.
It starts out as a semi-auto, and then you can earn different muzzle devices, which is this is when people in game tech are like, yeah, that'll be a thing. That's a thing, right? If you put a different muzzle thing on the end, it makes it full auto. Yeah. No, that's actually not how that works.
Mm-hmm.
So you can earn a muzzle device that turns it into a 3-round burst gun, because apparently the muzzle device knows how to count to 3.
Yes.
And then you can earn a muzzle device that turns it full auto, because as we know, I mean, you could just, I wonder if the AFT knows that. If they know that there's a thing you can just screw onto the thread onto the front of your gun and it makes it a full auto. This is when someone's like, hang on a second, Paul. When John Browning was experimenting, he came up with a muzzle device that forced the gas back into the action and allowed the gun to. This is what I just say: just stop. Just stop. But I actually like the one thing they did for you though is because the Tech 9 starts out as a semi-auto, it's actually more powerful. It kills faster.
Huh.
So there's that.
Speaking of stuff, and we could probably get to the show, but let me throw this at you. Lucy Lawless apparently comments on fans wanting her to be Gina Carano's replacement in The Mandalorian.
No, she's too old. She's like 20 years older than Gina Carano.
Let's look up Lucy Lawless. Lucy Law. Did she? I'm assuming that's not her birth name. Did she legally change her name to Lucy Lawless, or is that just her?
I don't know. She was born Lucille Frances Lawless in New Zealand.
Really? Also?
Yeah, according to the internet.com.
Actually, okay. Looking at pictures from
She's 53.
She does not. Wait a minute. Spartacus. I thought these were pictures from frickin' Game of Thrones. I was like, wait, she was in Game of Thrones? No.
No, she's like 15 years older than Carano is. So she's not that much older, but she's like 15 years older.
Yeah. Well,
I don't see Lucy Lawless
her,
was the warrior princess. That's why everybody says it.
Well, yeah, of course.
Because she's like the lesbian fan favorite.
Hey.
Oh, she is. All the lesbians are like putting Xena warrior princess posters in their rooms, and in the 90s. But I digress.
Eric, we were talking about Cold War. Yes, what Call of Duty we were talking about. All right, so yeah, we've been vamping for a while. Probably about time to get back to the real show.
That's why you tune in live, so you get this kind of stuff.
Yeah, you get behind the scenes, and you get us talking about Gina Carano and frickin' Lucy Lawless.
Yeah,
and Spartacus was a great show.
But to her great credit, to Lucy Lawless's great credit, she had some really good scenes in Spartacus.
And I just looked.
She was a nutball. She was like straight up
in the
cray
show,
cray.
yeah.
Oh yeah, in the show she was straight up crazy. Her character was a lunatic. And that show is seriously hardcore, rated NC-17.
Yeah. Anyway. And also, I was looking at pictures that she does not look that old. I could see her being. She
took good care of herself.
I don't think she should replace. What was the character's name?
Gina Carano.
Character name.
Zabadazoo.
I don't think she should replace Gina Carano, but if they're like, well, we need to get a strong female in there, but not a real strong female, like a strong, independent woman who will do whatever we tell her to do.
Not like a roided up weightlifter chick.
Yeah, like I think Lucy Lawless could get in there.
Well, they don't do roids. They
got
got strong like that from lifting weights. Sure, they did.
Yeah. Gina Carano got
sure
strong.
They did.
Gina Carano got strong like that from lifting weights.
Yeah, but Gina Carano doesn't look like a female bodybuilder.
Exactly. Any hooser, show start. We should do that.
Yeah,
Jared,
I'm ready whenever you are.
I know you've been tuned out for the last 15 minutes, but are you ready?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So she was the warrior princess back in the 90s, right? So she was like 30 or something when she did that.
I think she was like mid-20s.
Okay, well, whatever.
I'll look this up while we start the show. So, Dad, go ahead and start us off in 3, 2.
All right. Well, now it's time for us to talk to the audience in a public fashion, not in a private fashion, as we just were. And this is when you say, what are you talking about? I just opened the podcast and you weren't talking before. Actually, we do those shows live. And we do them live LIVE on Discord, on the Student of the Gun Discord.
If you're not in the Discord server, please go join it. studentofthegun.com/Discord. Or if you're already on Discord, just search official SOTG server. Request to join. Ryan Barker is our guy there. He manages the entire Discord server. So if you have any issues with it,
and currently we can do and say anything we want on Discord, up to a point. So what are we going to talk about today? The 350 legend. The 350. This is one of those cartridges that it arrived and I was like, holy crap. How many more rifle cartridges are we going to come up with? I can't keep up with the last 10. We got more. I guess that's how it was to be a gun writer back in the 70s, and when the Wildcats were coming out. And we'll talk about Wildcats in a second. Who referred to a woman as a wildcat? What show was it? I can't remember. What else? Thank you for asking. We're going to have a student of the gun homeroom. And during the homeroom, we'll talk about being dangerous on demand. And are tasers arms? Well, I don't know. We'll consider that. And then we'll talk about more stuff that you're going to be interested in. So just sit back, relax, brew a cup of tea, and listen to Zach play the music.
Welcome to Student of the Gun Radio, proudly brought to you from the SDS Imports studio. If you want quality that's affordable, visit sdsimports.com. We don't just talk guns and gear, we also discuss current events and politics, because guns are politics. Now sit back and listen louder to your co-host, CEO of Full 30, Jared Markle, and your beloved host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
And to solve the riddle from before the show, Lucy Lawless was 27 when Xena went on the air.
Well, look at that. She was just young, and that's been a while. Then what, early 90s?
95. 95
Wow.
through 2001.
Yeah, I was not paying attention to, when I was a kid, obviously when you're a kid, you don't have responsibilities. And, back when I was a kid, you had 3 channels, Channel 2, Channel 4, and Channel 7. And you watch shows, Dukes of Hazzard and
The Ed
stuff
Sullivan
like that.
Show.
Hill Street Blues and Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley, all right?
Ed Sullivan.
And I did not watch Ed Sullivan. You're an idiot. I'm not that old. And, of course, then I joined the Marine Corps. Well, actually, then I got out of high school, and I started doing things that 18 and 19-year-olds do, and that did not include watching TV shows. Now, there was one exception. Do you know the exception to that, Jared? I will give you $20 if you can tell me the exception to that rule. What show did I watch when I was 18 and 19 with my girly friend?
Baywatch.
No, not even close.
With girlfriend threw that off.
Twilight.
No.
Trying to think what was romantic.
Although Jared was close.
The Notebook, Twilight. I want to say Teen Wolf, but that was a movie.
You're done. You're all done guessing.
Fine.
It was a television show called Moonlighting. And who starred in the TV show Moonlighting from 1985 to 1989?
Kevin Sorbo.
A young comedic actor by the name of Bruce Willis.
No kidding.
Yep. A young comedic actor named Bruce Willis starred opposite Sybil Shepherd in the television show. They were a private detective agency. And
They detected privates.
And that's when he had hair. If you go back and look, Bruce Willis did indeed have hair.
I don't know if I know what he looks like with hair.
Yep. And he was hilarious.
Oh, you know what's
was
funny?
So funny on that show.
I typed in Bruce Willis to the Google thing, and it auto filled it with the first one was with hair. It's like either this computer is listening to me real time, or a lot of other people search Bruce Willis with hair.
Yeah, probably a lot of people like, did for real? It's been a while. Now he had hair in the first Die Hard movie.
Yeah, but
Bruce
it
Willis
was
had
like
hair in the
super
first
short
Die
hair.
Hard.
It was like a crew cut.
He was already balding. Yeah. So, but anywho's. So yep, that was the one exception. And then I joined the Marine Corps, and I stopped watching TV for years. And then I got out of the Marine Corps, and I started doing things that 20-somethings do. That wasn't watching TV. So a lot of these things, like we're talking about, like the Warrior Xena Princess and all those things that are pop culture television shows, I never watched any of that crap. Because I went and got kids and all that. So I watch some stuff now because I have time in the evenings by myself.
Well, you watched TV when you had kids. You watched Barney.
Yeah, I watched
Dora,
Barney and I watched
Teletubbies.
Blue's Clues.
All the good stuff.
Blues Clues, Blues Clues. You know what to do. Where are we going to sit, Jared? Actually, this is more of a Zach thing. Zach, where are we going to sit?
In the thinking chair.
And think.
Got a letter.
Think. All right.
Okay.
You know the original Steve. You know the original Steve had he did like a little comeback thing where he did a video talking to
just the other day, like a week ago.
Yeah.
I
was like, oh,
talking about what?
My childhood.
Why he left?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, look up Steve from Blue's Clues.
Questions. If you're live, put in questions.
Yeah, do that too.
All right. The reason that I'm going to be talking about the 350 legend is because yesterday I looked down at my phone when it buzzed, and it was an email. Or it wasn't an email. It was a text message from BRN at 556223. And they let me know. They said, Paul, heads up. We now have in stock a Cascade rifle. And I said, what the F is a Cascade rifle? And they said, calm down. It is a model from Connecticut Valley Arms, which you probably know as CVA. And it is chambered in the 350 Legend cartridge.
Did they also let you know that we need to play the intro music?
Oh, we didn't do that yet?
No.
Oh, well, go ahead and play that then. All right. Bing, bang, boom, bada boom. That was the wrong intro music, just so you know.
What?
Oh, the Brownells intro music.
Yeah.
Oh, we already played the show intro.
Welcome.
Yes, that one.
Welcome to the show. Welcome
the
to the
segment
radio,
intro music.
Oh, okay.
We already did the
I was
show intro music.
For what I was thinking, like, what's he talking about? But okay. All right. So this Cascade rifle, now the metal is finished in FDE, but the stock is finished in VELL, VELL camouflage. And it comes with a Vortex. We just talked about them on Monday. Comes with a Vortex scopage. Yeah, it's got a Vortex scope on it. A 3x9 by 50. And you say, okay, Paul, what's the big deal? Well, A, it's on sale. B, you can finance it with Credova. C, they dropped the price $50. And I thought about this, and I thought it was interesting that they would send me this message. Because they send them to everybody. But me, Paul Markle, living in Wyoming, is not really interested in the 350 Legend cartridge. And you say, why not? It's a fantastic cartridge released by Winchester in 2017 or whatever. Here's the deal. The 350 Legend is a straight wall cartridge. Boys, what is a straight wall cartridge?
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does it mean?
It's a wall. It's a cartridge that goes straight up the wall.
It goes straight up
through the wall.
That's right. No, it is a straight wall cartridge. That means it is not bottlenecked like your 5.56, 308, 30-06, 243, yada 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 yada.
It's like the old school, the bullets that you shot out of the cowboy action revolvers.
Yeah, but not. It's a rifle cartridge.
Yeah.
So why is it a thing? Why is this even a thing? Well, you've got the 444 Marlin, which is a straight wall cartridge. You have the 4570, which is a straight wall cartridge. Now, in eastern states, for wind. When in eastern states, they have this thing called, like, for instance, when we were in Mississippi, do you guys remember we lived in Mississippi? All these different deer seasons. They had modern cartridge season. They had black powder muzzleloader season. And then they had what was called, Mississippi people help me out. Was it called antique firearms season? I don't know if it's called antique. But essentially, it was a deer season where you could use I can't remember if they called it, primitive. That's what it was. It was primitive firearm season. And this is when you say, what the farfignugan is a primitive? You mean like a sling? Like a spear? An addle? No. By primitive, they meant muzzleloaders, flintlocks, black powder, inline muzzleloaders, cap lock muzzleloaders, and what they were trying to do is they're trying to get more deer hunters in the field, right? So they changed the law so that you could use a primitive weapon, which meant a single shot rifle that used a straight walled cartridge.
Who's getting a call?
Not me. So the straight wall cartridge of the time that was very popular was what? 4570, right? And then Marlin's like, ooh. We have this thing called the 444 Marlin. Got me a Marlin. And that's a straight walled cartridge. So what you could do in Mississippi is you could walk into Dad's Super Pawn and buy a Harrington and Richardson or a New England Firearms single shot rifle that was chambered in 4570 or in 440 or 444 Marlin, right? And you could go out into the woods and during primitive rifle season, you could shoot a deer with it, right? Because that's a primitive gun. And a lot of states have done weird stuff like that. When Ohio, when they started allowing people to shoot deer with handguns, it had to be a straight walled cartridge of certain size, caliber. I think it was 357 or larger or whatever. And the 350 Legend basically evolved from that. So the 4570 became real popular for deer in the East. Then the 444 Marlin became, and then people were like, yeah, but the 4570 and the 444, they don't have the ballistics I want. Now, if you have a big, fat, heavy bullet, you know how the ballistics are, right? They go whoop, they're like a rainbow, right? And they're not very flat. If you're shooting a 250 grain flat nose bullet, that thing's not, it's flying like a rainbow, right? Which doesn't matter in Pennsylvania or Ohio or West Virginia, or when you're sitting in a tree and the deer is going to be 37 yards away, because that's as far as you can see because of all the grass and foliage and trees and stuff. Doesn't matter, right? But then some people say, no, we want better ballistics. And so essentially what I think it was Winchester that came up with the 350 Legend. They said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a straight wall cartridge, but it's going to be a smaller caliber, right? So we'll get better ballistics out of it than you would with those bigger, fatter calibers. And the bullet will go faster. And I remember walking into a Winchester booth. It was developed by Winchester Repeating Arms a couple of years ago and seeing it. It was the new hotness, whatever show it was. They're like, wow, check it out. And I was like, wow, that's awesome, because that's what we need is one more rifle cartridge. You're just jaded. Yeah, I know. So the now it's probably a great cartridge. I mean, you can probably kill deer all day long, every day with it. The average bullet weight is about 160, 175 grains. They make them in 180 grains. So it's still a pretty heavy bullet when it comes to rifles. But I looked up the ballistics, and at 250 yards from zero, it drops 14 inches. So like that. Which is pretty considerable comparatively, comparing it to other stuff. You say, all right, Paul, who cares? Well, see, that's the difference between Eastern rifles and Western rifles. I remember being in Mississippi and having the gun shop owner there tell me that in Mississippi, the 243 Winchester was about as popular as Jock Itch. That's how I put it. Because he's like, yeah, that's 243 here in Mississippi is about as popular as Jock Itch. 243 Winchester out west is extremely popular. People use it for small game, like antelope size game, coyotes, and stuff like that. The difference between Eastern rifles and Western rifles is, well, how far are you going to shoot that thing? If you're in Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio, most parts of Indiana, Kentucky, whatever, and you can see a game animal from where you're at 200 yards away, that's a long shot. Here, out west, you start at 200 and go from there out to infinity, basically. So a 350 Legend, you know how the 243 is as popular as Jock Itch in Mississippi? Well, the 350 Legend's about as popular as Jock Itch in Wyoming. Because everybody in Wyoming is a ballistics freak. That's why the 6 and 6.5 cartridges are crazy popular out west, because people know, because you can take long shots. So it was interesting to me to make that comparison. You know, CVA is Connecticut Valley Arms, and they're where? They're in the East, and they make stuff, you know, for people in the East. For me, you know, the same thing with like an inline muzzleloader here, not very popular, because the shots you're gonna take on a mule deer or an antelope are not gonna be, you know, you're not gonna, unless the antelope's just like dumb and it's hanging out on the rifle range where you're trying to train people. If it's actually in the wild, you're not gonna get 52 yards away from an antelope unless it's retarded or distracted or something. But you're probably gonna have to shoot it at 200-300 yards, and you're not getting. I know your magic load is great, but you're not getting 300 yards out of an inline muzzleloader with 280 grain bullets or I don't know, whatever. So it was just interesting to me, and maybe, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people are like, no, man, 350 Legend is the hottest cartridge in Cheyenne. Cheyenne's a city and people don't hunt in Cheyenne, but that was just interesting to me. And I thought I would just throw that out there. But here's the deal. If you live east of the Mississippi, that probably would be a valid deer cartridge for you. So check it out, hippies. All right. That was Brownells. And the reason I know about that sale and all that good stuff is because I tune in to what's going on at Brownells by texting BRN to 556-223 or sign up for their newsletter if you're old school. All right. Duracoat, why?
Because life's too short to have an ugly gun.
It is. It is. Jared, how can people win a free shotgun this month?
Oh, it's super easy. You go to SOTGgiveaway.com.
Yep.
You join in on the October SDS Imports Gun of the Month giveaway.
Yep. So September is over, and congratulations to our winner, Nicholas, who won the exclusive one-of-a-kind PX9er Gen 2. That is out the door, and it's going and ready to go. You guys remember we talked about the 10 millimeter the other day, and was it, I don't know, grad program? We talked about the 10 millimeter and how everybody switched over to 10s. Yeah, it was, Jared, because you and I were sitting right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you know who saw that coming? The guys at MKS and High Point. They saw that coming a few years ago and came out with a 10 millimeter carbine, which is crazy because their 10 millimeter carbine actually costs less than than pretty much any 10 millimeter handgun that you could buy. And if you have the means, you can turn it into a bowcaster.
Oh,
so
yeah.
There's that. So I think the basic model retails for less than $400, I think. So if you want to, we were talking about 10 millimeters the other day. And if you want a 10 millimeter, they even make them in white snow camo. You can get a white snow camo version. And the 10 mil is a straight wall cartridge. So there's that. There is that. But if you go through, let's see, Gallery of Guns. If you go through Gallery of Guns, you can get one for $427. So there you go for a 10 millimeter. 10. All right, moving on. All right, well, this is the point in the show when you think about the questions that you want to ask, and Zach plays this special public service announcement.
ShopSOTG.com is the perfect place to go if you are a student of the gun. Whether you want to expand your brain, increase your marksmanship, or help keep your family safe. All that, plus the pimp hand brands that you love. ShopSOTG.com has almost anything that an American patriot would want. Education, enlightenment, and entertainment, and we're open 24/7. Check out ShopSOTG.com today and see for yourself. And that amazing public service announcement just reminded me. Because we're talking to people in the future, right?
Oh, yeah.
Future's past.
Correct.
In the future.
But on the day of the future, we're going to be having a sale. So should I mention it now? I'll mention it now. I was supposed to mention it on Monday.
Oh, okay.
Right now, when you're listening to this, not right now, you know
if you're listening to it on your favorite podcast application.
Yeah, or on studentofthegun.com or on Full 30. Anyway, we're currently having a sale on all of our hooded sweatshirts.
Hey, there you go.
A brand new one that Dad should be showing off by the time you hear this. Isn't that right, Dad?
I didn't get a package yet, so.
You should. It says it's supposed to arrive by the 12th, so yeah. But yeah, head over to
by
Shop
the
SOTG.
12th? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, today's the 13th, so it works out well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's true.
Exactly. So yeah, shopsotg.com. It'll be on the homepage. We're having a sale on the all hoodies. Use the code SPOOKY25 because it's spooky month. It's October. And you will get 25% off our entire line of hoodies. So you're
all right.
Did we do an orange hoodie
righteous.
with a pumpkin Student of the Gun logo? Because we should.
No, but that's a good idea.
No, because you saw that
you should do it.
Junior was doing those T-shirts.
Who?
Who's Junior?
Pete Junior.
No, I don't.
Oh, you didn't see that?
He's
he's doing Defiant Munitions shirts that are orange with the Defiant Munitions in black.
Oh, no.
So you look like a pumpkin.
So,
the problem with those is people will wear them one time and then never again. Although I suppose if
you wear it every year.
Yeah, you save it and you wear it every October.
Yeah.
Or you wear it out in the field so nobody shoots you.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah, that's it.
But that's not what I'm talking about. But we might add that in because why not?
Oh,
so just check out shopsotg.com right now, today, and you might get an awesome hoodie. Use this code SPOOKY25, and you might get a hoodie. Please get a hoodie.
If you really, 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 really have to have an orange shirt, go to the official AAFU lady shirts, and they come in all kinds of pastel colors. And you can get an orange pastel shirt if that's your bag, man. That's your bag. All right, well, moving on. It is time for us to have a Student of the Gun homeroom brought to you by our good friends at Crossbreed Holsters. Bing, bang, da bing, bang, boom, boom. All right, freaks and freakettes. Don't forget, if you go to crossbreedholsters.com, and they do have Ark bags in stock. We talked about those Monday, and they have them in stock. The ARK resistor bag. They're in stock. When you go to Crossbreed and you buy the good stuff from them, the modular holsters, all kinds of stuff, use the promotional code, SOTG. Save money. Get a good holster. Be happy. All right. This next story was shared with us by Zach, the shipping ogre, and it comes from our friends at Emmaland.com.
It says gun rights groups sues NYC, challenging ban on electronic arms.
Mm-hmm.
With the financial backing of the Second Amendment Foundation, the Firearms Policy Coalition, FPC, announced its part in a new federal Second Amendment lawsuit challenging New York City's ban on electronic arms, such as stun guns and tasers. I think you should probably take a second to explain the difference between stun guns and tasers.
Let's go ahead and
public
do
episode.
That. All right. The stun gun, which became a thing because it rhymes, is a square-looking thing that makes the blue sparky sparks, right? It has a 9-volt battery in it, and there are all kinds of different volts. There's 25 volts, a million volts, whatever. It's what we call those, what do we call those? Electronic subject controls. Or I think when I was a cop, they were called ESMs or ESCs or something, but electronic subject control tools or whatever. When I was a popo, when I became a policeman so many years ago, back in the early 1990s, when I say early, I mean 91, 92. All right. These existed. They were called stun guns. And we had training programs, and if you wanted to carry one, and the jailers carried them, and then they were issuing them to patrol guys. And it seemed like a good idea, right? Seemed like a good idea. It really wasn't. But the taser is basically, or the stun gun is basically a generic name for whoever made, and they're 99% are made in China, right? They make the little blue sparky sparks, and it's a pain compliance tool. The sparky sparks hurt, and it's supposed to make you stop misbehaving and surrender and allow the cop to put handcuffs on you, right? Well, then we came up with the Taser, which stands for Thomas A. Swift Electronic Rifle. Yes, it does. Taser is a company, it's a corporation. The old Tasers used a propellant powder, basically like a 22 LR blank, to shoot the probes out, right? And so they were actually, the original Tasers were classified as a firearm because they used a propellant powder to shoot out the barbs and the wires. Now, the problem with the old Tasers was they had to be recharged. You had to put them in a charging unit and charge them up. And then you'd put it on your body and you'd go forward and do stuff, right? But what would happen was people would take them and they'd carry them on them, and the battery charge would kind of like wear out, or it would be half charged. And they tasered Rodney King, and Rodney King ripped the wires out and commenced to kicking their butts. They're like, well, that didn't work. Guess we got to do different stuff now. Rodney King was actually the reason that the old Taser stopped being in existence and the new X26 Taser came about. You guys know that, right? Were you aware of that, Sons?
I didn't know that was the reason.
Yep, that was the incident. That was the nationwide incident because agencies had bought those things, and then they watched TV footage and read articles and after-action reports of Rodney King being tasered and it not working. And all these chiefs and sheriffs and said, whoa, what's up with that? It didn't work. So what are we going to do now? And so the taser stock went and agencies stopped buying them. Now the taser is not only a pain compliance tool, but it is also an involuntary nervous system disruptor. And you can look up the exact science and stuff. But a taser works not just as pain compliance. It disrupts the nervous system, not the deep heart spine one, but the topical nervous system. And it screws up your ability to grab, punch, kick, whatever. But everybody always says tasers are stun guns and stun guns are tasers, and they're not. They're two different things. So that's that, Mr. That's That. All right. Stun guns and tasers are bearable arms, and further, someone read that while I drink water.
drinking. Stun guns and tasers are bearable arms, and further, they are in common use for the purpose of self-defense. The complaint states, indeed, the superintendent of the New York State Police stipulated in litigation that hundreds of thousands of tasers and millions of stun guns are owned by private citizens in the United States. The complaint details that despite multiple court findings that similar laws are unconstitutional, the city of New York continues to enforce state and local bans on stun guns and tasers, trains its officers that the devices are illegal, and continues to arrest individuals found to be in possession of them.
There you go.
Let me go back a little bit here because I stopped after reading stun guns and tasers. To continue and finish off that paragraph, it says the lawsuit seeks a judgment declaring the city's ban unconstitutional, a preliminary or permanent injunction against enforcement of the law, and attorney's fees and costs. Case documents in CalCe, C-A-L-C-E, v. New York City can be found at fpclegal.org.
Yes, indeed. So, you guys, you might be saying, well, what's the BFD? What's the BFD? Well, part of the BFD is the fact that in New York, they are a may issue state, right?
Woo! That's right.
Wrong button.
Yeah. So that was cool. What button did you mean to hit, Zach?
I was trying to do a pull down thing. I actually hit the cut button, which is a giant button right above the pull thing.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. What we were talking about before off air, and you guys, if you're not as old as me, you probably don't remember this, but when I was growing up, when I was a teenager, I don't know, I was probably 14 or 15 when I first bought my very first black belt magazine, right? The black belt magazine. Many of you karate, taekwondo, kung fu guys may be familiar with black belt. And of course, like you would expect in Black Belt magazine, they had ads for martial arts weapons because nunchucks and throwing stars. And that was the main popular cool thing in the 80s was nunchucks and throwing stars. And then you had all the other stuff, the various things, the sai and the tonfa and the bow staffs. And then the really super fancy stuff like kung fu swords and stuff like that. And of course, what I realized just being a teenager, a youngin', was that you couldn't have those in certain places. Because at the bottom of all the ads for Asian World of Martial Arts, for under the nunchuck ad and so forth, it says, not for sale in, fill in the blank, New York, Washington, D.C., right? So when I was 14, 15, I realized that you couldn't have those things in New York. And they were illegal there, Then as I got a little older and I got into guns and stuff, I started buying the Guns and Ammo and Soldier of Fortune and fill in the blank, right? And then what's in the back of those ads? Well, the ads in the back of those magazines were for tasers, right? Handheld tasers, all kinds of different handheld tasers. But at the bottom of the ad, it says, will not ship to New York City, blah, 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 right? So even as a teenager, I realized that the cities, and let me tell you what, New York in the 70s and the early 80s was a not nice place to be. That's when they started adopting the how to be mugged model. They started doing public service announcements and posters and campaigns to teach citizens of New York how to be mugged. This is when you say, well, how to be mugged is I shoot you in the face and then you don't mug me. That's how that works. You pull out a knife, I pull out a gun, I shoot you, and then you don't rob anyone else or me. You see the light through there? Or that's at the that's a
I was gonna say
reflection. That's a cartridge reflection.
Nice.
That's the light reflecting off of the nose of the Black Hills honey badger projectile. Some people just got scared. Some people did this. So, and that was the way America was. In America, and I think there were other cities like Philadelphia and so forth, is the most dangerous places in the world, the cities with the highest crime rate, were also the cities that forbade you as the mere peasant serf to have things that you could use to defend yourself. Does that make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, why is that, boys? Zach, what were you saying earlier? That
in
you
regards
thought
to what?
Why they banned tasers and nunchucks and everything, basically. In New York, if you put your hands in your pockets, it's a concealed weapon.
Oh, yeah. One of the arguments that I had heard was that they were, quote unquote, afraid of people trying to be vigilantes.
Yeah. Now, when I was coming up, one of the liberal reasons why you're not allowed to have tasers and stun guns is what, Jared? Because who's going to use them?
The rapists.
Rapists. Yeah, these women's groups, these liberal women's groups, rather than saying, hey, we should let women have weapons to defend themselves against larger, stronger men. No. You don't want to do that. We want to ban weapons. Because everybody knows if you ban weapons, then rapists won't use them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they'd be like, oh, I was going to rape, but it's against the law for me to have this knife, gun, taser, whatever. So now I'm not going to.
What women need are whistles and those little plastic screechy things.
Yeah, they need whistles, rape whistles, which is because and this is the other thing. What's the other? We already finished that. Yeah, we answered the question. This common in Nicholas Orr, who Zach, will you find that please? So I forgot about this. Nick Orr wrote an article about tasers called Tasers Don't Knock You Out. And essentially it's how Hollywood basically has convinced stupid American people or ignorant American people that a taser will render you unconscious. Therefore, the bad guy can do anything they want to you while you're unconscious. So these women's groups were lobbying for the system, for their masters in City Hall or their masters at the state capitol or their masters in Washington, D.C. They're lobbying them to pass a worldwide ban on tasers, or at least for peasants. It's okay if cops have them, but peasants should never have them. Because rapists are going to use stun guns and tasers to knock women unconscious and then have their way with them. Except there's a little problem with that. Jared, have you ever been tasered?
Yes.
How long were you unconscious for?
0 seconds.
Whole 0 seconds?
Yep.
Have you ever had a handheld stun gun applied to you?
Yes.
How long did you go unconscious?
0 seconds.
0.0 seconds? Yeah.
In fact, it didn't affect my ability to
do anything.
Yeah.
So, our boy Nicholas Orr wrote an article, and he talks in the article specifically about why people think dumb things, right? Tasers don't. The article's called "Tasers Don't Knock You Out and Other Hollywood Tactical Errors." But people will say things like these women's groups, tasers should be illegal because rapists will use them to rape women, to knock women unconscious and rape them. And that's not how those work. Yeah, but I watched a TV show. I watched a movie where they tasered someone and they were unconscious. That's because Hollywood writers are idiots.
Also, let's be real here. Tasers are really expensive, and you know what you can knock somebody out with? A stick. You hit somebody in the head with a stick and knock them out, and not have to spend freaking.
Well, actually, if you hit someone with a bat, they actually go unconscious, as opposed to not from this. But it's not just tasers. I mean, there's all the other stuff, but that's why this stuff is perpetuated. That's in Hollywood, whether it's television Hollywood or movie Hollywood, perpetuates this garbage because it drives the plot line, right? It drives the show. Because, if I'm a Hollywood writer and I need this person to be unconscious for 5 minutes, then I'll just have somebody else taser them and they'll be unconscious. And they're like, look at that. But that's not how that works. That's like the old lady. That's not how any of this works. Now, what do you guys think the chances are of this getting through? This reversal of the New York City ban on tasers. I think it's actually pretty good. Because if y'all recall, going all the way back to December of 2018, a federal court struck down the New York ban on nunchucks. Yeah, that's right. On nunchucks. 1974 New York State ban on nunchucks was put into place over fears that youths inspired by martial arts movies would create a widespread mayhem. It was found to be unconstitutional under the Second Amendment, ruled a federal court. So riddle me this, Batman. If the federal court can review the New York law forbidding the owning and possession and ordering and carrying and having nunchucks, which is probably, all right, how many of you guys, when you're 13, cut a broomstick in half and screwed a chain between it and made your handmade nunchucks? You kids didn't, but I did. And everybody I knew in 1981 or 2 or 3 when I was in junior high and high school did. Because it's pretty simple technology. It's not exactly complicated. I mean, holy crap. How old is that instrument? 500 years old? Something like that? Oh, I think I still may somewhere in a box or a container or something own the first pair of homemade nunchucks that I took a mop handle or a broom handle. And I sawed it in half and took a length of chain. And,
I still have the size that you made.
Oh, the one that I made in Metal Shop?
Yeah. Oh, the two of them.
Well, I know. I only made one. If you have 2, those were bought from Asian World of Martial Arts.
Oh, then I have those.
Yeah.
Because they're 2 identical ones.
Yeah, those were purchased. I didn't manufacture those. But
I don't know.
I think that eventually, once this sees the light of day, that they'll probably throw it out. Because they can't legally justify it. They can't, their justification is always based on lies. And I know what they'll do. They will get their sycophantic, brainwashed masses out. They'll get some woman's group. They'll call Gabby Giffords and the Nanny Bloomberg's favorite call girl, and she'll round up a bunch of nags, and they'll go out and stand in front of a courthouse and say, "How could you allow this? Rapists are gonna use it. Oh, and it's gonna be terrible."
Hey, Zach,
it's all lies.
Are we far enough along that I can state? I can leave us on a high note.
We're at 45 minutes, so yes.
Okay.
All
yeah. Right. Dad, if you're done, I have our buddy Justin sent us something that I would like to end the show with, and I'll just read the title.
So my wrap on this is, I believe that as the Second Amendment Foundation and Firearms Policy, as they go forward and this gets to court, based on precedent, they will throw out this. And I also believe that the liberals will get their brainwashed idiot masses out to throw public hissy fits to try and stop it. That is my prediction. All right, Jared, take it away.
If you live in New York and you support this, help the Firearms Policy Coalition. Just go donate some money to them because that's mostly what they need. Okay, on a high note here, Justin sent me a story. It says, woman uses a taser on her private parts just to get more likes. I'm not going to read the story. I'll just leave you guys with that.
Just to get more likes?
Just to get more likes. It's like, brrr. I'm like, whoa. Alrighty then.
I know men do things like that, but I thought women were smarter.
I've never looked at a taser and thought, oh, I should
jam this in my nuts.
Apply that to my nuts.
You remember the great big chubby guy that was trying to get Facebook views or something, or YouTube views by abusing himself?
No.
Remember the guy who wrapped himself in firecrackers?
Superhuman.
Yeah, and
he would like jump onto microwaves and stupid crap like that.
Yeah,
I mean, that was like the modern version of Jackass.
Shot in the testicles with a paintball gun and stuff like that.
Good Lord.
I don't remember that part, but yeah.
Yeah, it was lots of stuff. It was lots of dumb stuff, but there you go. All right.
Leave that for your creative brain.
Yeah, don't. I'm going to go ahead and say not to do that. But, it is America, and if you want to take a taser to your nutsack or non-nutsack parts, then I guess just go crazy. All right. Let's see. Thursday's going to be difficult for me, but I'm going to do it because I can't remain silent on this. I can no longer remain silent on this. And it's interesting that we're spending time on Hal Moore's leadership because apparently in the United States Marine Corps in 2021, they no longer believe in the 14 leadership principles and traits, and they only believe in, being not good people. I'm going to say that because this is a public hour. Because on Thursday, I am going to say some swears. It's going to happen because I'm very, very upset with my Marine Corps. And if you're a Marine, if you are a non-active duty Marine or an active duty Marine, you should be very upset with the Marine Corps too. So that's, and then of course we have leadership, and then we have fighting fitness, and that's all on Thursday. So if you want to hear what I have to say about leadership, fitness, or the Marine Corps, tune in on Thursday. And you can tune in if you go to where?
GetSOTG.com.
That's right, GetSOTG.com. Follow it and sign up. Yes. All right. Cat in a hat, and that be that. Remember, kids, you're a beginner once.
You're a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.